A man from Georgia. Are we lucky or what? Welcome to Life is Good. You can't beat Ray Charles. This man's from Georgia. And if you never get to the chorus, he's going to sing one of my favorite songs. Oh. I love this song.
It's a good song.
Makes you homesick?
Yes, a little bit. I wasn't expecting this.
Georgia on my mind. Thank you, Ray Charles. You're welcome. That was should turn it off. But we have Roderick Owens, a man from Georgia, not Georgia, Vermont, but Georgia, the state.
Yes.
With a phenomenal Secretary of State.
Yes.
Yes, an honest Secretary of State.
Yes.
So, and I would say that about just about everybody I've met from Georgia.
Yes, and we've been doing quite well.
You are great. But you're here now.
Yes.
Roderick Owens is running for mayor. Go figure. I don't know why anybody would do that. Why are you doing it?
Why am I doing that?
Yeah.
Because I like to serve, and I'm good at it, and I think I can put my hands to work and help better the community and the city.
What's wrong with the city at this point that you would like to change?
Well, I wouldn't say there's anything particularly wrong with the city, but we have tons of places that we can improve.
How would we do that?
Well, first of all, we'd communicate better. We'd work together better and collaborate more, and then we would see the places where we had mutual interest in like expanding and improving, and then we'd make a plan and work the plan.
Collaboration.
Yes.
Consensus.
Yes, those are important, especially if you're
And not contentiousness. Have you been to any of the city council meetings?
I have observed some. I've watched a few of the videos. And
Thank you, NEK-TV.
Yes, that is true.
And Pam Lads, who films them.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that, well, and from observation, it's been very, people are having a tough time getting along.
Yeah.
And what would the mayor's role be in calming the waters?
Well, I know one thing that I would do is I would definitely bring a very enthusiastic and energetic atmosphere, and we would do what we have to do ahead of time to work and with community members that might be upset about particular things. We could communicate ahead of time before a particular city council meeting, and then we would just have, mutual expectations that everybody's going to be respectful and nice to each other in this public event. So we're going to behave like we should in public.
This is good.
It's kind of the same way around my classroom,
Yes. This man is a teacher of middle school.
Yes.
And you just got the job last July?
Yes, yes.
What were you doing before that?
Wow, that's a funny story, actually. Before that, I was working for 9 years as a substitute teacher and para and fulfilling all the roles in the same school district. So I've been with the Orleans Central Supervisor Union this is actually my 10th year, but my first year as a fully licensed middle school English language arts teacher.
English language arts. Don't you wish they were still teaching cursive?
I actually do have a cursive template on my wall.
Thank you.
And every now and then we do point to it, and I explain to them that I probably have the last one in the school district. I
Oh, God. How are people going to... Everything can't be signed dot loop.
No.
And people will say, well, it's a contract. I'd like to sign my name. The 3 X's after my first X are for my PhD.
Well, we do handwriting in my classroom.
I'm glad to hear that.
Every rough draft is handwritten, then we type.
I'm glad to hear that.
There are steps. Writing is a process. I mean, I did graduate from the University of Vermont.
I know. And that's not the only university you went to. You went to St. Mike's?
Yes, I did. But I majored in English, and I minored in business at the University of Vermont. So I think it would be very important that I impress that I do have a solid writing and communication background.
And that's easy to see. And let's talk about your theatrical performances, because politics is theater.
Yes. I mean, it's collaboration. It really is working together. It's community.
Community theater.
Yes. Yes. I am a member of the Borderline Players, and I have had the opportunity to realize a lifelong dream of getting back to theater. So I was away for about 20 years while I raised my daughter, so that's another conversation. But yes, and I love being a part of the community theater of Borderline Players, because we do have Canadian actors and people involved. So there's a lot of collaboration there, and you're getting to learn about, what's going on in their communities as we work together in a very awesome, like the Haskell Opera House is just the best.
I know. I joined it when I was 8 as in the library, because our cottage was on the other side. I'm Canadian.
Nice.
And our cottage was on the lake on that side, and my friend Sherry Grawl said, "I'm going to the library today with my mummy." And I said, "Well, I'll go to the library with you and your mummy too." And off we went, and I borrowed Anne of Green Gables.
Oh,
Maybe I was 9.
yes.
And that book changed my life.
Okay.
It changed my life because I related to Anne. And so if you're teaching children the value of reading, writing, this written word, communication, collaboration, through that linguistics.
Precisely.
Business is people and business is language.
Yes.
So you've got it all.
I'm getting better, though. I have room to improve. We always can get better.
He's a politician, and he says, "I have room to improve." You'll never be the president.
Excuse me.
They have to be omniscient. You are doing
No,
well.
I have room to improve. We all... It's a growth mindset. You have
It's
to
a
have
fantastic mindset. It's so rare in politics today.
Well, no, I mean, but like I'm looking forward to like the role of mayor as far as even helping the other departments work better together. And I understood that as, being a business owner and being in corporate jobs, throughout the years before I ended up as a teacher. So, you spend a lot of time with people every day. You work together. And I love the fact that like our city clerk and a lot of key people have been there for a long, long time. And I like the idea of also bringing in new faces and working together.
I would love to have a new face. I'm going to live with this one for a while.
It's
but
not
if you figure
No, it's okay. It's a good
anyway,
face.
I'll tell you something. What you're saying is so different than how you sounded on the phone.
Why?
I think you were stunned when I begged you to be on my show.
Well,
and you are just so alive now and so full of
Wait, was I at school? It might have been the end of the day at
It
school
might have been
or
the end of the day
something.
at
I think
school.
I was trying to, I have to get better at, I have to get better at returning phone calls and being a little bit more prompt and, sticking to those types of things.
How many people have I ever heard say, "I have to do this better. I have to get better at this. Please let me improve this situation"? I don't often hear that because people are usually either completely above it or they think they're getting it and they're missing half the story. And I'm talking universally, including myself.
Self-reflection is important. I'm learning those types of things as a teacher, because I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I have 50 kids. And I try to teach every single one of them.
You're a fertile little rascal, aren't you?
No, stop. I have 60 students in and under my care.
Oh my goodness.
One child. But I try to teach every student like individually at their level, where they're at with what we're trying to do. And that's key. So, and you can't really get good at that unless you do a lot of self-reflection, unless you like pay attention to how you're responding and how you're working in certain areas and things like that. So, like I said, I've learned a lot. I've been had a lot of opportunities. I'm glad to be where I am. I'm where I want to be, which is a great part about, because I basically left Georgia when I was 18 years old, and I came to the University of Vermont. So I've spent 30 years in Vermont. So I know I'm not a Vermonter, and I'm
Neither am I.
proud to be a Flatlander, how long that ever lasts.
Until you die.
That's fine. I can accept that because I pay taxes in Vermont, and this is my adult life has been in Vermont. I spent the first 20 years in Chittenden County. So what a lot of the ways that I look at Newport City right now, I look at it through the eyes that I looked at Lake Champlain and Burlington in 1992. I mean, and there are so many different ways that we can develop and we can grow as a city, utilizing like our natural resources. We have Canadian partners that we can tap into and have as resources.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, there's a lot of things that we can work together and, between whether it's funding and grants and adding more companies and micro companies and things like that. I mean, there's so many ways that we can grow and expand and improve. So it's like, and I really, really have watched, especially over the last 6 years, as, because one of the first things that happened when I moved up here in like 2012, when I moved to the Northeast Kingdom, I lived in Barton, for the first 9 years, but the facts were everything that happened pretty much happened in Newport. So I always had to come to Newport.
It's a happening city.
Yes, I will. I will add to that. Yes, it's
That's why I'm
city.
here, because it's so hip. Actually, the thing is, I love Newport,
Yes.
and it's just so perfect for me. And this is an Airbnb.
Good.
And
Yeah,
everybody
well,
who
I
comes here
understand.
wants to live here, and so I feel like a salesperson saying yes, yes, this is a realtor. Move here, and can you work remotely? Can you work remotely? Because they're young couples.
Yeah. Well.
And the more people we can get here who are working remotely, the better off we'll be, because there'll be no overhead for Newport itself.
True, and as long as we have good telecommunications and good internet services and providers that are competitive, that always adds. And we learned a lot. I think we definitely learned a lot throughout the pandemic of Zoom and Google Meet and how to be effective online and virtually. So I think there are jobs that way, but at the same time, it'd be nice to have new businesses too, and add to Main Street and add to the value of our downtown area and to our waterfront. There's a lot more things that we can do, and there's been a lot of stops and starts too. And I'm not myopic. I understand that it's going to take a lot of work, and that's why I love my schedule, because I'll have the entire summer to work and get involved. I know how to read business reports and do analysis.
Well, there you go.
Well,
that puts you in the majority in politics right now.
Stop. St. Mike's is where I worked on my master's in business. So, and the focus in marketing. So there was that type of the process. And, like I said, if you understand.
Well, what's amazing? When I said to a few people, usually I tape at 7.
Okay.
And I said, he can't be here at 7, so I don't have a big audience. But Lene came. Thank you, Lene. And the other people will meet you on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully.
Yes.
And try and get out of rehearsal early.
Shh, they're listening.
Let him out.
Okay.
Put in a stand-in.
I don't
Whatever.
know if there's a stand-in.
It's a really good play, by the way. It's starting here the last weekend of April at the
Yes.
Haskell, and the following weekend at the Haskell. Mark your calendars. It's called Noises Off.
Yes.
It is hilarious, and it's got an all-star cast. Brian McRae and all the other people who are in it. Marianne is Miss Fletcher is in
Yes.
And,
Ruth Ann is in it. Yep.
it. Ruth Ann.
And Mary Hoadley. We've got a great cast, as well as Chris Plant and just trust
All
me,
the other
our
people.
Canadian friends are involved. It's like I said, I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I really am.
Well,
Hoping to do my best.
you will, and if you can work in a cast, I've been in many, many casts, but usually backstage or in the chorus, or stand in the back and just bob your head, Heather. You can't get these steps, can you? No, but my kids are talented, so at least I'm the driver, and I give good cast parties. But
That's a benefit.
It's a benefit, but it was such a collaborative effort and so friendly that I never
Right.
felt under threat, and I never felt diminished. I was allowed to be there, be part of it. And I've seen only one production at the Haskell since I've come back over to this side of the mountain, and it was incredible.
Which one?
Addams Family.
Oh, yes.
I went twice.
Wow, they did a wonderful job.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
But I know that's not supposed to be, it's supposed to be a political conversation, but what I wanted to say was, when I said Rod was coming tonight, everyone said, what do you know about him? And I said, he lives close to the NEK station, but that's all I know, and he's an actor. So I did something I've never done before. Last night I went on Facebook and typed in your name.
Oh, yes.
And there are a lot of you, but I
Yes.
found you.
Yes, you should have.
And you've got an amazing resume.
Thank you. I've worked very hard at being who I am, and it hasn't been easy. There's been pieces around the road. There's the ups and downs, peaks and valleys with anything.
Can you talk about some of the valleys that you've climbed out of?
I try not to look at those valleys that
Okay,
often.
can you talk about some of the peaks you see down into the valleys?
All right. No, I was a single father. I had full legal and physical custody of my daughter from when she was 4 months old.
Bless your heart.
That was something I did not expect to have happen, and I did not think when it did happen that I would have full and legal physical custody throughout her entire, 18 years until she was an adult woman. And that was part of the reason that we moved up here in the Northeast Kingdom in 2012. is because I actually, wanted her to go to Lake Region. So she went to Lake Region and graduated valedictorian. And then she went on and went to Harvard and graduated from Harvard in 2021. And she's been out, 4 years in, 4 years, 4 years. I was the proudest father and it made everything worth it. So, and then she graduated in 2021 and has been out professionally for the last 2 years, doing great.
Where's she living?
Right now, she's in Burlington, but she's been the last year and a half in Harlem, working as a first grade teacher. So,
so when Princess Megan went over there, I'm hoping that she tripped her as Megan was walking by.
Well, I don't know if that was the case, but she did, but that's the thing. Being at Harvard, she made a lot of great friends and great allies, and I can't be more thankful, because it wasn't easy being a single dad, and it definitely, I put things on hold because, sometimes, in order for your kids to accomplish and achieve their dreams, parents have to give up theirs or put them on the side.
You're talking to somebody, but my kids were my dreams.
Yes,
and I lived, I know what you're saying, and now when they're having a bad day, they can blame everything on me.
It's fine.
And when they're having a good day, I don't hear anything, but
it's all right.
But it's all right.
Yes, exactly.
You've done a fantastic job. I wish I'd known about this. I could have done a bigger build-up of you, but you're doing great.
What? We're fine.
I know, but this is just so impressive because my most impressive thing is when somebody is a parent and they take it seriously.
Yeah.
And it's not, you're in the school system, and so you see the opposite.
Right.
In many of cases. And
but that's, and that's one thing too, though. Like, part of me being in the school system and being a substitute teacher was I needed to be home for my daughter. So when she got home from school at 3:30, I was there. And I was prevalent in every part of her education. And, and the reward was, going to Lake Region and coming out of there with flying colors and continuing on. The successful launch, But even then, one of the things I've said to her even recently for over the last 6 years, because she's done so well as a young adult, it's like, no, thank you. I love you and I appreciate you because you gave me a chance to now rediscover who I am and who I wanted to be. And and so I was in the school system for 9 years as a sub, and I saw a lot of the things happening.
Yeah.
And the only way I could, invest more is to actually teach and not go back into business or the corporate world or anything like that. And so, no, I love my daily job, and I love the fact that I've learned so much more about myself, and I'm in grad school, I'm enjoying all of this.
You're in grad school now? Again?
Well, to the education part, if you're gonna,
Yeah, they have to do it by steps, right? You have to get something like 2 credits a year?
But it's a process, but I'm looking forward to, being a middle school teacher and hopefully being the mayor and helping communities grow and connecting, we're all part of Orleans County, and that's something that I think people lose track of too.
Do you know Rick DeRoche?
Oh, I'm not going to say I do or don't. I don't know.
I will introduce you.
Okay, please do.
He's a dynamo with ideas, and his favorite word is community. And he loves the Northeast Kingdom more than anyone I've ever met who loves the Northeast Kingdom. He got all the enthusiasm going. The board of directors got this beautiful Northern Star going.
Okay, yes.
And the board of directors is brilliant. And they put Rick out there as the front man.
Okay.
For the first 2 years. And
Okay.
I was with that boat for the first two and a half years.
Nice.
And Rick, for the first 2 years, did nothing but talk community, and that's all I heard. And it was the most amazing experience of my life.
Well, we have to get all the stakeholders at the table.
And they have to get along.
Or at least agree not to get along, or agree to at least share your positions calmly and respectfully.
Get off your positions and collaborate, and then you'll have a successful tapestry rather than...
That is true. That is true. But we do know that, in a real good negotiation, not everybody, you don't walk away happy in a good negotiation.
I'm a mediator.
Exactly. So figuring out what people's needs and wants are, figuring out, what we can do to meet them halfway or what we can do to accommodate them, as well as accomplish our strategic plan.
Have you seen the budget? Do you understand?
I have, yes, I have. And I don't mean it sarcastically, and I'm looking forward to understanding that I can't even, directly affect most of those things because that's been decided. So now,
Yeah, but it's every year there's
right. So that would be so part of my job going into the next
What
year.
would your
is-
priorities be? Would it be the cleaning up of the lake or the maintenance of the lake?
I think we would have to have, one of the things, like on Monday, I attended the Newport City Elementary School Board meeting. So, just to, because I'm very much into education and I want to hear them talk about their budget. And I just think there's a lot of ways that we can benefit. And then some of the things that we need to, fall back on, or we need to see if there's any more, ESSER funds or COVID money relief funds that haven't been spent in some of these organizations. And then how are these community service organizations doing? And, and then circling back to, bigger picture items. But meanwhile, I love Gardner Park just like everybody else, and, then there can be a fun and festive part about being in the city, but we can also be fiscally responsible and work to decrease people's property taxes too. There's ways
Did you
that
hear
we
that?
can do.
Did the world hear that? I can't believe it. The man came to appraise my house when I moved in, and it had never been appraised. It's 960 square feet.
Okay.
And I'd heard that lakefront property gets taxed, or if you have a view, it gets taxed. And I said, I'm on a swamp. And he looked down at me and says, yeah, why do you think nobody else bought this place? What? You get a break for that, honey. I went, yeah, okay, good. And yet that swamp is attached to the lake at Newport.
Yes.
And it's so bad.
Oh, and there's things that we can do because, like I said, all of the departments have been doing, I've been reviewing a lot of those budgets and seeing the annual reports and things like that. And even whether it's not necessarily in my purview or something or directly, I'm still going to enjoy going to get to know these people, going to get to see how the departments are running. I want to go visit the prison, especially after some of the recent things that have happened. And it's important, because what I would offer is that the more people we can bring in, the more inclusive we can bring, people to the table, the better ideas we're going to come up with, the better sustainability we're going to have, because if everybody buys in, we'll work together to keep the plan going. And if I don't give up, unfortunately, tenacity, I'm very tenacious. Sometimes to a fault, so I am, to be honest, but
I've heard tenacity out of politicians. To hear honesty out of them is another thing. So thank you very much. I'm not talking local. I had a show for 10 years in a different market. And it was so much fun because governors and ambassadors and everything. We film it at my house.
Right.
Governors, ambassadors, every legislator, every senator would come by Heather's house.
Yes.
And they were all lovely people.
Yeah.
And that's because they were Vermont politicians.
Yes.
And then you open it up to the national level and you get it all mishmashed on different television stations and you never hear anything really good about them. So that's why if you want to be a happy American, talk local, because shop local, talk local, be local, because otherwise it's just so mind-bogglingly frustrating to see people arguing at a high level.
Well, counterproductive is a real thing. And at a certain level, you have to be honest and say, what we're doing is counterproductive. We're not going to solve a problem. And then if you continue down that road, then you really, in my opinion, that's what you're after. That's your goal, is to be counterproductive. And I only like to be productive. So the growth mindset, working together. And yes, I am definitely, this is as local as I'm going to get as far as Vermont goes. I'm choosing to live here, be here. I've chosen here for 30 years. And I've had opportunities numerous times, but I love the mountains, I love the winters, I love the seasons, and
What do you do for fun?
Everything, anything and everything. I just finished a girls basketball coach, so at the Barton, so I'm literally middle school teacher, girls basketball coach. I'm into fitness. I should be a little bit more. I'm working on it.
You look lovely.
Well, I'm doing my best, but I need more exercise. See?
You do?
I do.
He always wants to improve. He's an honest man. This is so lovely.
Well, we got a big campaign coming up for 5 weeks. I want to get out, shake hands, meet people.
You mean we have 5 weeks left of this?
Or 4. Well, it's for the campaign part.
I
intend to be doing the job for quite a bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
I'm just, if we're going to be honest.
That's good, yeah.
So yes, I'm excited for this new journey, and I'm glad. Like I've seen some of the wonderful politicians over the years. I've loved the Vermont politicians, and like
They're lovely. I mean, really.
well, I mean, and close friends like Catherine Sims and Kesha Ram. I mean, being able to work with them over the last few years.
I haven't seen Keisha Ram in a long time.
She's about to have a baby.
Well, my goodness.
I know. I'm so excited. But the last time I hung out with all three of us together, we were strategizing for different political things, but also, working on the Old Stonehouse Museum.
I see that.
And like a lot of people has seen me most recently as like Alexander Twilight. So he's like one of my heroes. So to be able to like work with the Old Stonehouse Museum and to personify.
Any relation? Any of your ancestors?
No.
Mine either.
I wish. No, I'm happy for who I am.
I'm happy for who you are. Anyway, you have a rehearsal to get to, but will you be able to come back?
Yes, I will.
Thank you for watching Life is Good. Roderick Owens, on the ballot, great teacher, a father. And he took fatherhood seriously. I love that. And a naturalized Vermonter, as am I. So
yes.
Thank you for watching Life is Good. Mwah. See you soon. Thank you very much.
No peace I find, just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Georgia, I say just an old sweet song